might seem busy to you, maybe, but this is actually pretty quiet for New York City. And look at this. 59% of New Yorkers say that they would be better off leaving the city entirely. You see, they have the road blocked off, but this guy tried to drive down this street. They're letting him go. That's an act of mercy right there. We're in the Deutsche Bank Center now. Normally, this place is like a zoo, but not today. It's not a weekday either. It's the weekend. Very, very quiet. It's pretty quiet in the subway as well. Look at this, 57th Street. There's like one person and this newspaper. Now, there's a lot that you could point to for reasons people might be better off elsewhere, but 41% of folks, they're saying that even though the mayor has policies to crack down on crime, that's their reason for wanting out. And 19% of people stated that it was the high cost of living, but whoever lives in that tower probably isn't in that 19%. And according to Zero Hedge, the New York City rental market is number 7 on the list of most expensive places to live. Living here is not affordable. $2.06. I guess New Yorkers must all shop at Whole Foods. Although this is dented and last week they were $1.75. Come on, Jeff. Now this leaving of the city of New Yorkers, it's got some repercussions. You see this $600 million building? The owners of this place just had to turn over the keys. It is kind of ugly. Maybe it's for the best. But this is an office building. And if people aren't using the offices, that means no one's paying rent. And if no one works upstairs, they're not gonna come downstairs to Sweet Green, even though their salads are incredible. Although I do have a bone to pick with these guys. Whenever they have a salad that's on the menu, it's always missing like one thing that would make it better. And then that little tiny scoop of tomatoes or whatever it is that you wanted that costs like an extra $4. It's a good business plan, it gets me. Now what you might not know is even though these workers in these offices get to keep their $100,000 remote jobs, people who might work at this parking garage now have less business, they could end up losing their jobs. That's the issue with places like this sushi restaurant. I mean, this is clearly not in a residential neighborhood, and the only foot traffic on streets like this is from people who have to be here, either for work or tourists. But tourism is also down right now. But these things have a compounding effect. If no one's at the office and no one's at the restaurant's gonna start saving money, laying people off, decreasing their hours. The service might go down. Hopefully nobody gets food poisoning, but you know, you never know. But once that happens, people who used to enjoy eating at the restaurant won't anymore, and they'll stop going, and they were some of the last remaining people that were here. I've actually eaten at this place right here. It's not bad, but it's definitely a little expensive. And then over here we got Carnegie Hall. Not as much going on here as there used to be, that's for sure. And there's gonna be less people buying bikes to ride around Central Park. Some experts make the argument that now that this downward spiral has started, it's not reversible. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but the big question is what, if anything, is gonna stop it? Oh my goodness. Only in New York City. What is happening to this place? Nice to meet you.
Shake hands.
Have a good one.
Long Island City.
Thank you. What are they running from? Oh. Exercise. On the train, I was reading about how one company is going to electronically monitor their employees' attendance at an office like this. Now, there are a couple of ways that they could do this. The old school way is with one of these. You gotta ring this if you want to get in. But I have this feeling that you and your buddies could just trade these to each other and scan them all to get in. That way your attendance would be recorded even if you weren't there physically, because this thing was. But then there's the smart lock. Look at that, fingerprint activated. Something like this, that would be so much harder to fake. This other lock is phone activated, but you could always give your phone to someone. Or you could just get a second phone. I got some old phones lying around. I'd put the work app on it and that would get me in. I need to find a better spot for that switch. Anyways, the issue that a company like Goldman's gonna have is if you give people the freedom to work wherever they want and they do that for 2 years and they restructure their life, if you wanna try and force them to just come back and not attach some sort of pay raise to it, they're gonna be resentful. And that is especially true when some companies like Twitter announced pretty much immediately when the lockdown started that their employees could work from wherever they want permanently. If you have a friend that works in that type of situation and you work at a place where they're like, hey, it's time to come back with no raise, you're gonna be pissed. Look at this, problems in paradise. Workers at Apple are upset because they're supposed to start going back. I mean, again, I don't blame them, even though the article tries to vilify them by saying, oh, they have great jobs and they make more money than any of us, which is true. But I'm a business owner, and every time I've given somebody something and then I've tried to take it away and not expect there to be a cost associated with that, they're never happy about it because it feels unfair. Now, these companies, some of them like finance companies like Goldman Sachs, they're making the case that, whoever sent me this coffee and this grinder, I appreciate it. Real Mexican coffee, that'll get people to come to the office. I'm sorry, New Mexico, I'm sure it's amazing, thank you. These non-tech companies are trying to make the case that people work better together in person in groups, and although that's probably true, people don't want to work together in groups. I always hated doing group projects. It's probably exactly the same in the corporate world. What do we have here? A safety vest! Okay, it has a little battery, but there's no power. I better charge this. I think it's charging. But do I even need to charge it? Look at how bright this thing is. These colors are fantastic. Okay, with the lights off, this is definitely better. Thank you to Worldwide LED for the vest, and whoever sent the coffee, thank you. It's seriously amazing. It's from Amazon. They didn't include a receipt. My prediction is that no one is going back to an office 5 days a week anytime soon. It's gonna have to be some sort of hybrid model because there's a worker shortage, and if you've got skills and your employer says that they want you to do something you're not comfortable with, somebody else will hire you and they'll probably put up with whatever it is you want. So employees have a lot of leverage. Unless your job requires in-person collaboration, that's Apple's excuse. They're saying that because they make hardware, people need to be hands-on in there. I guess if you like making hardware, you'll come into the office to do it. But as far as people in finance where it's like a computer, oh, that just sounds awful. There's a computer at home. Why can't you sit there? Anyways, hope you had fun watching. Pick something else here or here, and I'll see you in the next video.